When the news broke on January 12, 2023, that Lisa Marie Presley had died of cardiac arrest at just 54 years old, it was like déjà vu for millions of people around the world.
We have breaking news. Lisa Marie Presley has this morning suffered cardiac arrest, that is, according to reports from TMZ.
Headlines flooded the media. Fans gathered at Graceland, stunned and silent. Candlelight vigils appeared overnight. For a generation that had already mourned the sudden death of her father, Elvis Presley, decades earlier, this moment felt eerily familiar, almost too familiar. Only 2 days before, Lisa Marie had appeared at the Golden Globe Awards, smiling gently, her voice slightly slurred, her posture delicate. She was there to honor the film Elvis, a biopic celebrating her father's legacy. Standing beside actor Austin Butler, who portrayed Elvis on screen, she appeared proud but physically fragile. No one imagined it would be the last time the world would see her alive. Just like Elvis, Lisa Marie's death came swiftly. One moment she was present, beaming for cameras. The next, she was gone. And with her passing, the world didn't just lose another celebrity. It lost the last living link to one of the greatest musical legends of all time, the only child of the king of rock and roll. The grief was instant, yet strangely hollow, as though this was a tragedy we had already lived through once before. But there was something different about this loss, something heavier. Because while Elvis's death at 42 was sudden and tragic, Lisa Marie's story was longer, darker, and infinitely more painful. Elvis's end was a burst of collapse, a man undone by fame, addiction, and isolation. Lisa Marie's story, on the other hand, was a slow unraveling. From the outside, she lived a life many would envy, born into fame, surrounded by music, wealth, and opportunity. But from the inside, Lisa Marie was carrying grief from the age of 9 when she walked into the bathroom at Graceland and found her father dead on the floor. And that trauma, unseen and untreated, never left her. The public may have seen her as Elvis's daughter, but behind that legacy was a woman who spent her life battling demons that didn't make headlines until it was far too late. Her death wasn't just a loss. It was the closing of a tragic loop, a full-circle moment soaked in irony and sorrow. But what many don't realize is this: Lisa Marie's pain went deeper than her father's. Her struggles were quieter, but longer. Her heartbreaks were more personal, more private, and in many ways, more severe. And if you thought Elvis lived a tragic life, just wait until you see what his daughter had to endure. Lisa Marie Presley didn't choose fame. She was born into it. When she came into the world on February 1st, 1968, the headlines wrote themselves. She was the daughter of Elvis Presley, the biggest name in music, and Priscilla Presley, a cultural icon in her own right. The world watched her first steps, her first smile, and her first appearance with her father like she was a royal heir. In many ways, she was American royalty, with Graceland as her castle. But behind the glamour was a child trapped under a spotlight too bright to escape. Lisa Marie wasn't just Elvis's daughter. She was expected to become the living embodiment of his legacy. The pressure to be charming, musically gifted, graceful under fire. It all came with the name Presley. She didn't inherit just his fortune. She inherited his fan base, his expectations, and perhaps most tragically, his pain. From the outside, her early life seemed magical. Elvis adored her, showering her with extravagant gifts, fur coats, diamond jewelry, private flights to see snow. Graceland was filled with music and laughter, but also unpredictability. Elvis's erratic behavior, late-night binges, and fading health became the silent background noise of Lisa's childhood. Then came the divorce. In 1972, when she was only 4, Elvis and Priscilla split. Lisa was shuffled between households, Los Angeles with her mother, Memphis with her father. She was growing up in two very different worlds, one rigid and structured, the other glamorous and chaotic. The split didn't just break up her family, it fractured her identity. By the time she was 9, everything changed again. On August 16, 1977, Lisa Marie walked into the bathroom at Graceland and found her father, unresponsive and lifeless. Just a child, she became the accidental witness to one of the most devastating moments in pop culture history. From that moment on, Lisa Marie wasn't just the daughter of a legend, she was the survivor of a loss the entire world felt. But while the world mourned Elvis, Lisa had to live with the image, the weight, and the trauma of losing a parent far too young. No one asked if she was okay. They just assumed she'd be strong, because she was a Presley. But what they didn't see was that Lisa Marie had already started down a path she'd spend a lifetime trying to escape. A path paved by wealth and fame, yes, but also by loneliness, pressure, and emotional scars that ran as deep as any inherited fortune. The death of Elvis Presley on August 16, 1977, shocked the world. But for Lisa Marie, it was far more than a headline. It was the day her world shattered forever. She was only 9 years old. That morning, Lisa Marie was inside Graceland, the family's Memphis mansion, when she walked into the bathroom and found her father's lifeless body. What she saw in that moment, what she felt, would follow her for the rest of her life. While millions mourned the king of rock and roll, Lisa Marie carried the image of his final moments in her mind, alone and unspoken. The world's grief was loud, dramatic, and public. Lisa Marie's was quiet, private, and haunting. She didn't have the luxury of forgetting. Elvis became larger than life in death, his face on posters, his music played endlessly, his legacy immortalized. But for Lisa, he remained her dad, the man who read her bedtime stories, flew her to see snowfall, and called her his button. And yet, no one truly asked how she was coping. She was the heir to his empire, the Presley name, the next chapter in a legacy she never asked to inherit. She didn't get a break to process, to breathe, or to just be a kid. Instead, she became the girl with Elvis's eyes and Elvis's grief, but none of his escape. Elvis's life ended in a tragic crescendo of fame, addiction, and isolation. It was over in a flash, but Lisa Marie's pain was long-form suffering, a silent melody that never stopped playing. She wasn't just mourning her father. She was being molded by the loss, shaped by it, forced to grow up in its shadow. And while the world glorified Elvis, Lisa had to live through the darker legacy he left behind. The instability, the addiction, the loneliness. She was left with a fortune she couldn't control, a name too famous to hide from, and a heart still broken before it had even learned how to fully love. Her father died at 42, but in many ways, Lisa Marie started dying at 9. Not physically, but emotionally, carrying grief that never had a true outlet, only echoes. And unlike Elvis, whose story had a definitive end, Lisa was left to walk through decades of public scrutiny, private heartbreak, and the unbearable weight of unfinished mourning. The death of Elvis Presley was the beginning of Lisa Marie's sorrow. But it was only the first chapter in a much longer, far more devastating. In her search for love, Lisa Marie Presley was no stranger to passion or pain. Her first marriage, to musician Danny Keough, was quiet and grounded. They shared a love of music and had 2 children together, Riley and Benjamin. Danny wasn't a superstar, and perhaps that was the appeal. For a time, he offered Lisa a sense of normalcy, but the pressure of being Elvis's daughter, combined with personal struggles, eventually pulled them apart. What came next shocked the world. Just 20 days after divorcing Keogh, Lisa Marie married Michael Jackson, the king of pop. 2 royal names, 1 headline-grabbing marriage. But behind the spectacle was tension. Lisa Marie would later call it one of the biggest mistakes of her life. She tried to help Michael through his legal troubles, even urging him to go to rehab. But the relationship wasn't built on trust. It was built on a mutual need to be rescued. Then came Nicolas Cage, a Hollywood actor with a well-known obsession with Elvis. Their marriage lasted just over 100 days. It was fiery, dramatic, and unstable, ending in a divorce almost as sudden as their romance began. At one point, during a heated argument, Cage reportedly threw Lisa Marie's $65,000 engagement ring into the ocean. Years later, she would marry Michael Lockwood, her guitarist and producer. This time, she hoped for something lasting. But what started as peaceful turned into horror when she discovered disturbing material on his computer. The fallout led to a bitter custody battle over their twin daughters and further eroded Lisa Marie's trust. Each relationship began with hope and ended in heartbreak. Again and again, Lisa Marie opened her heart, only to find herself betrayed, disillusioned, or broken. Her love life wasn't just tragic. It was a reflection of the chaos she never escaped. To the world, Lisa Marie Presley was Elvis's daughter, a public figure, a symbol of legacy. But behind the camera flashes and family name was a woman quietly drowning in pain. From a young age, Lisa struggled with the emotional weight of her father's death, the pressure of fame, and the instability that came with it. As she entered adulthood, that emotional turmoil began to surface in devastating ways. By her late teens, Lisa Marie had already experimented with drugs and alcohol. The pain she had long carried, the trauma, the expectations, the endless comparisons to Elvis, had nowhere to go. So it turned inward. In her 20s, she entered rehab for the first time, and though she fought to stay clean, the cycle of addiction would follow her for the rest of her life. In her later years, following the birth of her twins via C-section, she was prescribed opioid painkillers. What began as recovery turned into dependency. In her posthumous memoir, From Here to the Great Unknown, completed by her daughter Riley, Lisa Marie confessed to taking up to 80 pills a day at one point. It was a heartbreaking admission, one that showed just how far her inner torment had gone. But the public rarely saw that version of her. They saw the appearances, the interviews, the flashes of strength. What they didn't see were the hospitalizations, the court-ordered rehab, the insomnia, the panic, the long nights spent alone with her grief. Then, in 2020, her world collapsed entirely. Her only son, Benjamin Keogh, died by suicide at the age of 27. The loss shattered her. Lisa Marie, already teetering on the edge, fell into a darkness even she couldn't navigate. According to Riley, Lisa kept Benjamin's body in their home for 2 months after his death, unable to let him go. "I blamed myself every single day," she wrote. That grief, raw, maternal, irreversible, was the final blow. The kind of heartbreak that doesn't fade with time, the kind that redefines you. And yet, Lisa Marie kept going. She kept performing, kept trying, kept holding on to what little strength she had left. But she was no longer living. She was surviving. Beneath the famous last name was a woman silently suffering, haunted by loss, weighed down by expectations, and running out of strength to keep pretending. Of all the tragedies Lisa Marie Presley faced in her life, none came close to the one that struck in July 2020. The loss of her son, Benjamin Storm Kyo. He was just 27 years old when he took his own life in the family's Calabasas home. Benjamin was Lisa Marie's only son, her twin soul, as she described him. He looked like Elvis. He carried the Presley name. But beyond appearances, he carried something darker, a pain that ran through generations. Lisa Marie never recovered. In her own words, Benjamin's suicide destroyed her. Friends and family said it broke something inside her permanently. In a rare, painfully honest essay, she revealed that she had kept his body in the house for 2 months because she simply couldn't let go. "I talk to him every day," she wrote. "I blame myself for every moment I wasn't there." The grief didn't just leave her broken, it changed her. The woman who had already survived addiction, public scrutiny, failed marriages, childhood trauma now had to survive something even worse, the death of a child. And in this, her pain even surpassed her father's. Elvis Presley struggled with fame, with loss, with loneliness, but he never had to bury a child. Lisa Marie did, and that loss consumed her. It clouded everything. Her music stopped. Her energy faded. Those closest to her said she withdrew from the world. Even joy, what little was left, seemed impossible. Her daughter Riley later revealed that Lisa moved back in with her first husband, Danny Keough, after Benjamin's death. It was a desperate attempt to feel something familiar, something grounding, anything that could carry her through the sorrow. Together, they grieved, not as ex-lovers, but as two shattered parents trying to survive the unthinkable. This wasn't just another chapter of Lisa Marie's tragedy. It was the deepest wound of all, one that never healed, one that likely led to the final spiral. In the end, Lisa Marie wasn't just a daughter of a legend. She was a mother who lost her son, and with him, lost her will to keep going. On January 10, 2025, Marie Presley made what would be her final public appearance. She stood on the red carpet at the Golden Globe Awards, smiling softly beside her mother, Priscilla, and actor Austin Butler, who had just won for portraying Elvis. She looked proud, but weary. Her speech was slightly slurred, her steps careful. No one realized it at the time, but Lisa Marie was saying goodbye. Just 2 days later, on January 12th, she collapsed from cardiac arrest in her Calabasas home. She was rushed to the hospital, resuscitated once, but hours later, she was gone. The autopsy revealed that her death wasn't caused by drugs or relapse. It was due to a small bowel obstruction, a rare complication from past weight loss surgery. Her body had carried silent trauma until the very end. And just like that, the Presley bloodline lost its last light. Elvis died suddenly, consumed by the weight of fame. Lisa Marie died slowly, piece by piece, worn down by grief, heartbreak, and memories she could never outrun. Her passing wasn't just the end of a name. It was the closing chapter of a legacy built on music, shattered by tragedy. A life lived in the shadow of greatness and claimed by the weight of sorrow.